Hey there guys, my name's Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb, your home for old school airgun reviews and where we tell you the facts, not fluff. So today's video is about the new Venturi Bullpup. I have had this in my possession for a while. I know I've sort of been teasing about that. And it's a very, very good shooting airgun. Let me tell you all about it. So before we get started, definitely want to say thank you to Pyramid Air and Venturi for sponsoring AirgunWeb and of course sending us this air rifle. They've been a great sponsor for year after year after year. So when you're looking for your next airgun, your pellets, your chronograph, your compressor, the things that you need to go shoot your airguns and have fun with them, definitely check them out, www.pyramidair.com. So let's get into this. The Venturi Avenger, we know what this is. This is a very affordable, regulated, user tunable platform that really has a lot of fan base at this point, and for good reason. It's a very good shooting airgun. The sort of natural progression would be to take that and turn it into a bullpup, and that's what they've done. The bullpup platform is extremely popular, and for good reason. It shortens the profile without compromising performance. And that's why the military's done it. It gives you a very short profile, but you still have the same barrel length, you still have the same power. It has all of the same characteristics, I mean, ballistically, that you get out of the long gun, but you've just got this much shorter profile. For some people, they absolutely love this. The fact that the weight of the gun is more rearward and it's, you know, it feels more balanced. They really prefer that. For me personally, and you guys that follow my channel know this, I'm more traditional guy. I prefer a rifle over a bullpup, but this is a really good bullpup. We'll get to that here in a minute. So some of the things that we want to talk about just in general that carry over. So they have the synthetic stock. I'll tell you that I didn't really like the synthetic stock on the original Venturi Avenger. This feels better. Not quite sure what they've done in the material, but it feels less plasticky to me, and it feels more composite material. It just feels more premium, in my opinion. The grip, just everything about it just seems like it has, I don't know, more substance. So for me, I would not need to change this out. The plastic in the original one, when they went to the wood stock, I much prefer the wood stock. But this quality of material that they have here, whatever they've done differently, maybe nothing, but I'm pretty sure they've done something here. It's just better. I like it quite a bit. So I've got this very heavy-duty UTG bipod mounted to the bottom rail. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, you still have some flex. You guys can probably see that has got a little flex in the chassis. Be better if that was more rigid. Just my personal preference. This sort of flex, I struggle because of the higher center of gravity to keep the gun still and straight when shooting. So my shots sort of tend to wander left to right with some bullpups. Not all of them, but with some. But having this a little bit more rigid would probably fix that. The way you're going to mount a scope. So normally this is your scope rail. Obviously this wouldn't work. So we've got this scope rail here, and this works pretty good. What I run into with bullpups, me personally, is that I have to really crane my neck over, and for me that's uncomfortable. And they've done a pretty good job getting the scope high enough. Personally, I would actually like to have this even lower for me, just the way the gun fits me, but I was able to work around it for this video. You have the same stuff you normally have with your standard Avenger. You've got your pressure gauge here, and on the back side we have our reg gauge right here. And I haven't checked if you could, yeah, so under here, if you needed to make adjustments, they're going to be right here. If you need to drain it or, you know, bleed it off and then adjust your reg, you're going to do that right under here. Looks like we've got a couple mag storage places, which is actually pretty cool. And one of the things that I was very excited to see was that this is a 22 caliber, and maybe this was just unique to this sample I got. So I hope that this is what they're doing just default. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but I'll tell you that this, instead of coming cranked to 2900 PSI at the reg, where the reg was set, it was set to about 24. And for me, 22, 24 in the 22 is about ideal. I mean, and if I'm shooting pellets, if you're shooting heavier slugs, maybe you want to have a little more. But if you're just shooting like the 18-13s, which is what we're running on this video today, more pressure just is wasted air. It's wasted shots. It's wasted potential. So if you're a target shooter or you're a hunter that's shooting pellets in that 16 to 18 grain range, you don't need to go above 22, 2300 PSI on the reg. Now, what does that equate to shot count? Well, this did amazing on shot count. I sat here and actually had to go get another tin of pellets because I went through the first tin. It was already low, but I mean, we got 100 shots on the reg. So I'd have to go back and look at my other videos to see what the Avenger did, but it wasn't 100 shots. It wasn't even close to that. So we did 100 shots on the reg, which means they've either done something dramatically different with how they set the reg up here and how they've worked the efficiency of the valve in the Bullpup, or just having that lower pressure just out the gate just delivered. If we want to talk specific numbers, and it did fall off the reg a little bit at the end, so let's go ahead and just we'll give it a little bit of margin of error there. Let me pull this up. Okay, so I used the FX chronograph, which is, I love that thing. I love the FX chronograph because when I'm shooting, I don't have to just shoot over a rigid chronograph. I can actually shoot targets and actually work out some of my shooting processes while I'm getting the chronograph numbers, which is, for me, pretty cool. Okay, so if I look at the stats here, so we averaged 874, which is right at 30.7 foot-pounds. So we'll say 31, because I think this average should be a little bit higher because there was a couple. I mean, if you don't shoot 100, if you shoot, say, 90, definitely is going to be more. But it fell off right at like 98, 99. So our high was 886, our low was 849. Again, those last few shots is where it started to drop, and that was 100 shots. Okay, so we're still at an extreme spread of only 37 feet per second and a standard deviation of 7. Now, what's interesting with something that has a huge long shot string, so if you were just shooting over the chronograph, you wouldn't know if there was any change in your point of impact across that huge spread. Well, for the whole 100 shots, I was shooting targets, little spinners at 100 yards, and I missed maybe a couple. And the last 10 shots I put on paper. So usually when you're at the last bit of your reg, the last bit of pressure, that's when things start to sort of fall apart. They didn't. I mean, was it as good as like my accuracy shots? No, it wasn't. But it wasn't completely out of bounds. And I was 100 shots in or 90 shots in, and really wasn't shooting my best at that point. But still, we got a very respectable group at 50 yards at the very end of the shot string, which to me just speaks volumes as to what this gun, this potential of this platform. A couple other things. Noise, I think they've done some changes there too, because I'm trying to remember now, I believe the original Avenger was like 104, 106. Well, this came in at like 101.2. So noise was better. That's very, very good. Trigger pull was better. Normally with a bullpup, especially when they just essentially take the action, the rifle action and throw it in a bullpup stock, the attention to how that trigger is going to work hasn't been great in the past. Well, the trigger pull on this was 11 ounces, like 10.9 or 11.1. It was 11 ounce trigger pull. And it was, I mean, it's not a distinct two-stage, not that I can really feel, but it's very smooth, very consistent, and it does not impact your accuracy. It's not like you're going to pull or push based on that trigger. It is very, very good. So before we talk about accuracy, let me tell you about the scope we're running. This is the Hawk Vantage. It's the 30 mil tube variety. It's the wide angle side focus first focal plate. So it's a 4:16 magnification. I think this is a great scope for this platform. It's, you know, it's not low end, it's not high end, it's a good middle of the road with a lot of great features. I really love the clarity, I love the first focal plane, especially for hunting. So I know that regardless of my magnification, my mil-dot spacing remains consistent. So let's talk about accuracy. I shot 40 shots. I shot 4 groups of 10. I shot 2 groups first on the bipod, and it seems like my first group in both scenarios was sort of me feeling out how it was really going to get the consistency I wanted. The second group with the bipod shot very well, and I mean very, very, very well. I mean, we're probably, I could mic it. Center to center is probably just over ½ an inch, and we're talking a very affordable gun, 50 yards, around ½ an inch, maybe definitely less than ¾ of an inch center to center, 10 shot groups. And that's all day. I mean, guys, I'll just tell you, that's not a once off. That's, you're seeing what I'm getting. I'm not shooting 30 cards and showing you the best one. I put this card up, I shot this card, and this is what you're seeing. It's awesome as far as I'm concerned. Now, I did want to switch off because sometimes I struggle with this top heavy, higher center of gravity, just not the same sort of balance I'm used to with the rifle. And I wanted to try and see, am I putting something into the shot group that is not, well, am I screwing things up essentially? So I grabbed my other rest, which took the bipod off, grabbed the other rest, supported the gun fully, and just sort of really tried to dial that in. And the first group was frankly awful. But that was me trying to figure out how to just hold it so I could be comfortable enough to shoot. I would not recommend shooting it off that kind of rest. I was just trying to find something that would give me as much stability as possible to show you what the gun can do. And once I sort of figured that out, at the end of that first group, I shot my second group. And we're shooting shots 30 to 40 here. And I mean, they were, I mean, certainly, we're talking ½ inch center to center here. I mean, this is just really, really good results out of a gun that is so affordable. I'm curious as to what we could get out of this at 100 yards. I'm curious as to if I can find some slugs that may want to run in this gun. That's something I'm hoping to do later. We'll see. We'll see if I'll have the opportunity to kind of put that time and energy into this. I don't know if Venturi is going to want this back right away or if they'll let me hold on to it for a while. But it's another bullpup that goes in the Rick can shoot it column. There's a lot that Rick doesn't want to shoot. This is one that Rick will want to shoot. I mean, I'll work around figuring out the best ergonomics for me, and I probably will bring the scope up just a little bit. I think that's all I really need to do to make this more comfortable for me to shoot, sort of like as a main gun. But it's very, very good. Guys, if you are, like, if you've been itching to know about if this is worth getting, yeah, I mean, all the Avenger guns, I mean, my personal opinion of the stock, of plastic synthetic stock of the original, put that aside. I mean, that doesn't impact the fact that the gun was a great shooter. But now you have a really, really awesome shooter with massive shot count, good power, great consistency, repeatable accuracy at the start of the shot curve all the way to the end of the shot curve. What's not to love with this? I got to tell you, this thing is right on time, great value. Take a look at it. Again, thanks to Pyramid Air and Air Venturi for hooking me up with this stuff. Hawk, all the other sponsors that keep AirgunWeb going. Thank you guys, I really do appreciate it. We're wrapping up this year with some cool stuff and excited to see what 2022 brings us. Guys, that's going to be it. If you want to know more, check it out, www.pyramidair.com. And if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, hit the notification bell, and that'll help us keep doing what we're doing. My name's Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb, your home for old school airgun reviews and where we tell you the facts, not fluff. Thanks for watching.